Howdy, Danny Jewel again. Well, it's kind of hard getting over to Nicaragua and doing some stuff. Some people are coming back from Nicaragua now that family of Terry's and other people. It's not really the best down there. Wagner's had malaria, COVID, and other things, and he's in a bad way, but he's recovering. He's still getting by. And his family over here, and Valio, he's coming. It's just not very good down there, and I'm not sure how soon I'll get down there, but I'm gonna try and do it a different way, help here and there. So this is a plan. I'm hoping. Gotta go with the flow. I'll go to Virginia. I'm gonna look for a property and 5-10 acres, much as I can get for a good price. I'm thinking trying somewhere between $800 and $1,500 an acre, raw, that I can get zoned agriculture, or where I can do pretty much what I want on it. Then I'll develop some of the things that I've been studying that I know will create a self-sufficient property for a family. Going to try starting with the stream and the water generating the power. I'm going to have to stay in my van for a little bit, get that started. Talk to Terry and some other people local there to try and get a family or a couple of families to help me with working that property to turn it to be productive. So that means there's going to be 2 or 3 homes on there, small homes, and develop the property to produce the food we need, the shelters we need, the energy, the water, and that should prove my point. I'm going to start with a method that I've had in mind of creating forms and doing layered forms. In those forms, having the exterior to be able to handle the heat from the direct sun or from the shade from the other side. To process by putting the plumbing already in, I think making or using, if I can get it, tile plumbing instead of PVC, and aircrete type form material instead of concrete. Try and get away from Portland and go more towards lime and some other materials to stay green and as much green as I can. Getting the condensation and creation of air to water within the walls themselves, and in there by passing heat and cooling, much like a swamp cooler, but I'm doing it within an enclosed area and creating the separation from heat and cool, being able to use it mechanically in the design of the walls and the ceiling and the floors, in conjunction with burying the biodigester and making the shape of the biodigester to take and fit the function that I want. I don't think a depth is necessary to like the big ones now, or if you look at them, they're concrete, they're formed, they're domed, but they have a lot of depth to them. Well, under a home, if you were going to take and want to clean that out, you want to maintenance it, and you want to handle that flow easily, well, the depth becomes a problem. And so I'm looking at only a certain depth, but creating it longer using the ground line and the geothermal under a home, so that the biodigester could be partially under the home. And we only have, like now, the water running on one side or part of the home anyway, where we have the kitchen and bathroom. shower and all that. Usually, like in my house and most houses I've been in, they're only on one side or in a certain area, and that's what I'll be doing. I'll be controlling where the location of the equipment and everything is, and running in the wall. I'd like to play with, if I can make some graphene, and play with graphene as a conductor, as an element to use to reduce the amount of materials, and to lay a ribbon in my walls as a layer to be more like the old Star Trek-y movies where everything was in the wall and you had panels and you could centralize everything, but the conduits and things would run down the walls. The layer in the forms would be more permanent, but graphene can handle a tremendous amount of load and electricity, a lot more than others, and I don't really see a need to take and have access to that ribbon all the time. I just need to make it in a way that it is not going to be split or cracked, and it should be 100-year plus construction, lightweight, tornado resistant, hurricane resistant, fire resistant, water resistant, mold resistant. And in theory, I'll design it so that it could actually float or be picked up as a whole. If the ground would split and fall away, this would remain and stay together and allow to protect the people within the home, its occupants and such. In Florida, they have a real bad, and in California, the fires and volcanoes and things, they have a real need for the newer types of construction and the newer methods and the materials that are available, and becoming slowly more popular because of the ability and the cost. The cost is actually, once I started looking at it, cheaper than a stick or concrete cinder block home. You need thinner materials. It takes a shorter amount of time to construct. The materials can be readily available if you look for them. You'd have to mix it yourself. There are no companies around that do this for you. So that's kind of the plan. Do this in Virginia, and I'm going to set up a Wi-Fi and communications antenna so that I can bounce a signal around my property and repeat to the neighbors or whoever is necessary to try and have everything that we need there. I think I can keep the costs pretty cheap. I might even be able to talk Citrix or a few other countries companies into helping me with some technology. And it's because I'll be working with some stuff that's not being worked with today. The technology's there, the equipment's there, it's just not being used this way. And I think it's a pretty neat way to use the equipment. You know, WebEx is a software package used by Citrix that I think is a real good product. I'll probably be using that for local communications so that we can have site-to-site video and audio communications. Even in an emergency, it should be pretty easy to do. The signals and everything I don't think will be affected by the weather or any kind of problem, even if the ground would shake and move, it would still communicate. So very good emergency equipment, and should only take about a year. The first part of the plan is to have the property this fall, as soon as possible, and I'll be waiting through the winter, putting that together for spring, come down here in Florida to spend time with family and friends and do some fishing and stuff. Do what I can here from person to person to help. I know it'd go a lot quicker if I had some help, but so far, just like always, as I've always done, it's just been me. Me jumping out of an airplane, me climbing a mountain, me surfing the ocean, me sailing, survival training, just about everything. Boy Scouts. It's me going out there and doing it to it. When I ran track and played football, it was mainly on me. And not much support from anybody, not much help. In fact, people just kind of, my family just made it harder. Kind of got in the way, slowed me down. Heck, I even missed a football game one time because of my mom. And all I got was hell for it. So I guess that taught me a lesson. If you want her done, you do it yourself. If you want to rely on somebody, rely on yourself. Everybody else can follow, or they don't. It's up to them. But the path is clear, straight in front of me, and I'm going to go down that path. If you want to come along, that's cool. But be careful, pay attention, listen, and help. One gentleman went with me one time parachuting, and he got a broken leg because he didn't pay attention and didn't listen. Nothing I had anything to do with. When you're out there in a parachute in the sky, you're on your own. A big target on the ground, but he went home in an ambulance that day and a broken leg. And that's kind of been the way it is each time. When I was surfing, they called me Crazy Holly. It was kind of a nickname. Went down the beach because I was the guy that did the things that just other people, white people, other people don't do a regular, Surfing's fun. Me, I had fun, but I went a step further. I pushed the limits. I was a crazy guy. I went out and swim with a shark, swim with a porpoise, swim with a whale. I had fun. And, in fact, I just went out with Terry yesterday, and he showed me around a couple things. Went to see his boat, and a very interesting old engineer, old man. And he's got a really nice cabin boat, fishing boat. You can go out in those for days. He says he's got about a 360 gallon, 2 tanks, about 360 gallons. That's tempting, but not the kind of boat that I want to go out in anyway. We walked up to his front yard, and he has a fence, and it has a little opening in it, and he has a really nice Labrador. So I took, and the dog seemed friendly enough and all that, but he was inside the fence, so and there was an opening there, so I moved my arm and my hand closer to where that opening was, where the dog was, to see if the dog wanted to sniff, and to test the dog, see if he was up to having a new friend. Boy, he came right through that fence like he was going to bite me. He didn't get very close, though, but maybe 4 or 5 inches to me. But and he was aggressive. Kind of scared Terry a little bit, But most people wouldn't do that. Wouldn't test. Wouldn't know what to do, but I do. And yeah, getting a little close to danger is not an issue. Not if you have knowledge, not if you understand what you're doing. And it scares my mom, and it scares other people that are worried for me, and I appreciate that. But this old guy has been around a little bit, so you gotta let this old guy do what he thinks is right. I just wish I could find a bunch of people that want to fix things and want to do things right. I was hoping down in Nicaragua, the Caribbean coast, the Mosquito Coast, the beautiful people that are there and their nation, in the Musqueam Nation, I could take and do that, but it looks like that might not might not happen, not for a while anyway. I was thinking about staying there for a long time this time. But again, they're having a lot of trouble down there with the government and friction between the peoples and the oppression. And that's only going to take and make things worse. And if I were down there, I have the attitude I would help them. And I could be dangerous down there for people because of my knowledge. There's an old saying, an old idea that just enough knowledge to be dangerous. You know, that's scary. I have enough knowledge and wisdom to be more than dangerous. So I hesitate going down for that reason too. I don't want to be in the middle of a war and say things that fuel even sooner things that happen. I suggested they develop their own police force for the Indian lands and establish their groups in their areas to control them and patrol their borders and create a communications network. But if I did that, if I was instrumental in doing that at this time, it could be hard times for people and into another civil war. Yeah, it's looking like it's coming again. It's just a matter of time if the government down there keeps doing what they're doing to the people. Well, taking a break at a rest stop. Still in Florida. I got about 9 hours before I get to Virginia. Had my bean soup. Oh, it was good. Yeah, I got a little bit left in there. Real good. I think might do something a little different tomorrow. I can slow cook in there, so I think I'm going to do some slow cook or some barbecue or something in there. It's not too unhealthy. Yeah. All right. Catch you on the flip side. This is American Freedom on Walkabout. I'm free.